Hi guys, and welcome back. It's been a while. 2021 is coming to an end, and this YouTube channel initially started in the beginning of 2021 actually. Not sure if I started it in the end of 2020 maybe. But it's been a while since you've heard from me. I've been quite active over on my Twitter profile throughout the year. Many of you know me from that channel. My Twitter profile, Philip Gunst. It's been a busy year. That's also the reason why you haven't heard much from me. As many of you know, I am a management consultant in my private life and as my day job. I've had two shifts actually during the year. In February, I left EY Parthenon, the strategy consultancy of Ernst & Young, to join a local management consultancy called Core & Company, which in August after the summer were acquired by Implement Consulting Group, which is a quite large management consultancy here in Denmark and the Nordics, 1,000 people, also with offices in Munich and in Zurich, as well as just a newly opened office in the US. So quite a busy year on that front as well. I've been working approximately 60 hours a week throughout the year, so been busy, and that's also why my activity on both Twitter as well, especially here on YouTube, has been as low as it has. However, I'm back now, feeling energized to give some sparring and providing some of my learnings. As some of you may know, this YouTube channel were initially created to bring some of my learnings, my perspectives on the market, and sort of giving best practice advice to newcomers on the stock market, really more than focusing on specific stocks in my own portfolio. That's mostly what I do on Twitter. So the focus here is a bit different than what it is on Twitter. However, I just recently posted regarding doing a Q&A, so if you have any questions also regarding specific stocks, I'll answer them during the weekend. However, I will try to keep these videos a bit shorter than I've done historically. 30 minutes were a bit too long for quite a few of you, so I'll try to keep it a bit shorter. Short update on the market. Whoa, 2021, what a year. Overall indices, at least the major indices, are doing very, very well again in 2021, just as was the case in 2020. SP 500, MSCI World, and especially also the C25, the Danish index, it has been doing phenomenally all year, up between 20 and 25%, I think. There's been a bit of a drawdown here in the last few weeks, so I'm not fully updated to be honest with you. However, yeah, if you are one of those passive investors, which I highly recommend if you're new to the market, or of course also for your pensions, you've been doing very well. I know from both my own pension, but also from family members, that the pension funds in Denmark have been doing very well all year, at least if you are allocated towards the more riskier solutions that are heavy in stocks. However, my own portfolio also been doing quite well, to be honest with you. I'm up approximately 40% on the year. I have a few portfolios, to be honest with you. One is very focused on mining, obviously, which is the ones of you that are following me on Twitter would know that I'm very skewed towards mining, especially here in the last 12 months. I've been heavy in junior miners to get that leverage towards both gold, silver, and copper, some base metals as well. I'll get back to that in a few minutes, but also have some non-mining stocks that have been doing quite well as well, some of them at least. Been very, very roller coaster kind of ride, 2021. I think it's been a blessing actually that I've been as busy as I have, because a big part of both the spring, but especially the summer, my portfolio were down 20-25% from the top, and GDX, the leading index following gold miners, also had a huge drawdown. So it's been a volatile year, to be honest with you. Especially the last few months have been the period that has really done me great, as well as the first month actually of the year. So during January, where I didn't work that much, I traded quite a bit, did quite a few swing trades. So January was very good for me, and then I think October, November has been extremely fortunate as well for people allocated towards mining companies. The reason being, of course, the inflation. Saw CPI up in October with 6%, which is absolutely insane. US dollar is actually quite strong. DXY is in 96, I think, which is quite rare given that gold is also in 1860, silver in $25. So to be honest with you, and that was also the thesis, I started investing in mining stocks in 2019. I bought some of the majors in 2019, especially Barrick Gold, Galliano Gold I had as well, a few other names too, which was very, very nice. I entered the party at approximately $1,200 per ounce gold. So I had that massive uptick towards 2000 last year. So I've been here for a while, and sort of patience is really a key word when you are investing in mining companies. And of course, when you're in juniors like myself, it comes with a massive risk, and that is definitely not for everybody. I've been fortunate enough to have people believing in me to manage their portfolios. A few people, some were quite aware of the risk of investing in miners, some not that much. And if you don't have that mindset that you are willing to lose 5% on your portfolio a day, and willing to see companies in your portfolio decreasing with 20, 25, 30% a day, which is in mining with the spreads, with the liquidity is not unusual. However, which has sort of made me a bit happy. Of course, you should never be happy on sort of people losing money, but seeing growth stocks this earnings season in Q3, where companies that have been performing extremely well have been sort of releasing their quarterly earnings and been slaughtered, really brought down. I think stocks like really growth stocks are down 20, 25, even 30% on quite decent actually earnings. So sort of the volatility and the risk from mining has actually been transferred as well to growth stocks. And yeah, growth stocks is a story for itself. I think I'm probably gonna make a video by itself on growth stocks. I sat down in the beginning of 2021 and made a sort of a short list of some of the most interesting names out there in terms of growth companies, especially because if you saw sort of from the bottom in March 2020 and until the end of 2020, that sort of course, everything ran up. We saw that, I think, many stocks were up 100, 200, 300% in that period of time. However, the growth stocks were the hottest thing to own, SPACs as well. So I think I'll probably do a video on that and sort of trying to zoom in on what has really been the case for these drawdowns. You have several names, Jumia, Skills, some of these darlings really, Peloton as well. Several darlings from 2020 that did very well in terms of shareholder value creation back then, that has been slaughtered during 2021. So that is a story for itself. In terms of mining, what to say? I think my biggest regret is probably not being more allocated towards the green transformation, green energy kind of metals. I have copper, which is obviously going to be a leading commodity in the green transformation in terms of both EV, but also for solar panels. However, lithium, graphite, cobalt, some of these more rare metals have been doing extremely well. Of course, also uranium, but that's a different story. That's really buying into to atom power. But sort of to be fair, that is probably the biggest regret, not being a bit more in that space. A company like Lithium Americas is up from, I think, $2 in mid. I'm not sure if it was 2019 I made that initial buy, or if it was in 2020. I think it was in 2019, but up from $2 to $32. Yeah, it just tells the story quite well, right? So there are several names in that space I didn't really nail. However, I've been doing quite well, and I think being very resilient, as well as being very confident in the gold thesis, the silver thesis regarding the monetary policy, zero rates, limited sort of financial growth, and now also inflation. We knew it would be coming at some point, and whoa, it has just exploded in the hands of Fed, for instance. CPI up 6%, as I mentioned, and I think when you're looking down at sort of a list of commodities, oil is a good example, natural gas is an even better example, but also ammonia. Even ammonia, I think, is up 300 or 400%, which is absolutely insane. I think farmers are having a hassle in terms of purchasing ammonia right now, and people really sitting on their hands. On the other hand, they need it. So that's a big problem. I think it will push food prices up, which is also something that has been affecting many of these food delivery companies, like Good Food, that I have myself down to 30% on the earnings release yesterday. Terrible. And I think the German company, I don't really remember, and then Delivery Hero, sorry, has been doing quite poorly as well. HelloFresh is actually one of the only names that have been doing quite well. So commodities are up. Oil is up from $25 at the bottom last year to $85 this year. Maha Energy hasn't been doing that well, really. A bit of a disappointment, to be fair. But many oil companies have been doing well. Natural gas is up 300 or 400%. Heating prices will be ridiculous this winter. But looking at that sort of list of commodities that are up 100, 200, 300% and even more, gold and silver together with platinum are the only three commodities that haven't really followed. Of course, that is because of the manipulation of the large banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. You know the story. I've been telling it a lot on my Twitter profile. Just saying that I think the thesis will be fulfilled. I think we will see. I'm not sure if sort of gold will go to 2,500 and silver to 50, with the markets going up, the overall indices going up together with gold and silver, or if gold will sort of cross with the indices and we will see gold in 2,500 together with a meltdown in the overall indices. If you're following David Hunter, I can highly recommend following David on Twitter. He's a contrarian investor and has some quite ridiculous perspectives on the market. I think he's a great guy, and I really enjoy reading some of his projections on the market. But he believes that we will see a melt up before a major crash, and we're talking like 75-80% crash in overall American indices. And I actually follow his perspectives quite well. I think what we will see is that Fed at some point will try to raise the rates. I think that will be a catastrophe. We have already seen now that sort of looking into those reevaluation of the rates next year has been slaughtering all of the growth companies. And I think another recommendation to follow on Twitter is Puro Saxena. Great guy, really enjoy following his portfolio as well, and he's hedging his portfolio in down times like now, which is extremely clever, shorting overvalued companies and the ARC ETFs. but just saying it's coming, and I think it will come. The question is if it will be a matter of, it's obviously a matter of time, but also if it will be fortunate to be in miners, which is my leverage towards the gold, silver, and copper price. So of course, if you're in juniors, you will have that beta 5 to 10x of the commodity, and I think, yeah, that has been the thesis since I bought in on gold in 2019, and that is continuously the thesis. However, I've also bought a few other companies. Most of you know that one of my biggest positions is Colonial Coal, which is a met coal, a coking coal company. Coking coal, it's the commodity that is used for making steel, and with the infrastructure bill in the US, that case has just boomed, as well as their buyout target, and they will likely be bought out either in the end of this year or beginning of next year. I've been waiting for it since March, and now up 300% on the position. But just saying, being in this space is extremely risky. Being in this space is volatile, and it's definitely not for everybody. I think another video I'll make is probably on psychology, and really being able to put those emotions away and try to be as feelingless as a robot or an algo, because you need that resilience, you need that robustness to actually be an investor in the space. And several of the guys I follow on Twitter, whether it's the Hedgeless Horseman or if it's the Golden Venture, you see those guys have been in the market for 5 years, and they have really kept on believing in the story and the thesis, even though we have seen periods in that time space that has just been ridiculous to be an investor. And I couldn't even believe sitting in a position for 5, 6, 7 years and being at all-time lows, and you just believe in the story. That's truly amazing, and you really need to be an experienced investor to have that mindset, and few people in that in my generation don't have that. So I'll also make a video on psychology. So we have a few videos to make throughout the last 1.5 months of the year. However, I just wanted to sort of show a sign of life here on my YouTube channel. I will also cover my portfolio at some time. We're quite busy, and I'm already 18 minutes in. But I'll come back with some more videos, and yeah, it's been a hectic year, but it's also been a good year, and I'm very confident in the thesis, and I'm very bullish on my portfolio. Up 40% on the year right now, and I believe I can at least do 5 to 10% more before end of year, and I hope to have a smashing year next year if the gold and silver thesis will fulfill itself, which I believe will happen. So stay tuned. I will post quite a few videos over the next 45 days or so. So stay tuned, and then I'll see you guys soon. Bye.